Today I'm going to talk about 4 things to do before the end of the year from a HR perspective. It's quite terrifying, but there's about 30 working days to go till Christmas. So there's a bit of a runway into Christmas at the end of the year here. So I'm going to, from a HR perspective, have a look at what you can do. So a little bit about what's next. For people that don't know us, we're a HR consulting firm. We've been around for about 17 years and we provide HR services to small to medium businesses. We work alongside business owners, so we're a bit different than an internal HR team that sort of sits between the business owners and the employees. We sit alongside the business owner and we really try to provide some commercial advice along with business advisory, people advice, of course, and really HR for the modern world. So we look forward at things like AI, the trends happening around the world. HR can be a little bit stuffy, so we try to keep on what's happening in the future of HR and looking forward, and we've got offices in Brisbane, Gold Coast and New York. So 4 things sort of to get done now between now and Christmas, and 30 working days isn't a lot of time. So let's just work through these 4 things. Now, people that have heard me speak before, I talk a lot about artificial intelligence. Seems a bit crazy from a HR person, but I take a HR perspective on this. And so I really think one of the things you need to look at is what your artificial intelligence strategy is for the new year. If you haven't started anything, if you haven't thought about it, you really need to get moving. The tools like ChatGPT been around for almost 12 months now, and overseas, I see it in America a lot, it is reshaping businesses. So if you haven't started thinking down this line, please start going towards it. It's really leveling the playing field. It's stopping procrastination, which is great. It's getting people moving with some of these large language models. You can really get projects up and moving along. It removes replication from your business. Of course, productivity and efficiency gains are huge. And we're seeing sort of 70-80% efficiency gains in some of these areas, in some businesses that are using some really great AI tools at the moment. And the main thing is it's accessible and it's cost effective. It doesn't cost you anything to explore this. It's very, very accessible, and it's just getting better and better every single day. And leveling that playing field so you can compete against bigger businesses now. So I really, really would love you to go and have a look. It's really changing the way that we're looking at business. It's changing the way our clients are. And it's something that I think just to consider for the new year, even if you're just starting to dabble in it, but just don't sit on the fence and keep watching. This thing's moving really, really fast. And I can tell because in North America at the moment, it is absolutely changing the face of business. So yeah, keep that strategy in mind. Now, the way I look at it is if every one of your people in your business had an EA that you didn't have to pay for, how much more productive could your business be? And then that's really what you need to look at from these large language models and some of the AI as well. So start to open the door and encourage its use. And so in HR, I look at HR as being a bit of a mix between risk and performance, right? There's some mitigation of risk, and then there's some let's get everyone performing more in the business. In my opinion, you can have a much bigger impact if it's times by AI. So whoever's doing HR in your business, whether it's an external, whether it's someone internal, whether it's a business owner, I think they should be driving the AI experience into the new year and the strategy into the new year. So it really does exponentially increase the effect on your people if you're doing that. So again, the reasons behind why I think HR is a really important window for AI is that HR should be the custodian of your culture. It certainly shouldn't drive it. That should be the business owner, and the executive should be driving the culture. But HR is the custodian, and if you want to make major change in your business and introduce something like AI, which is a major change, it's a very, very big change to what we're used to, it needs to be built into the culture, right? It needs to be built and ingrained into your culture. Like I said, organisational structures and role designs are sort of unrecognisable now on what we've been looking at with businesses. The traditional structures that have been around for as long as I can remember are changing because some business functions are no longer needed and then other roles are completely needing to be redesigned. So I'm not talking about getting rid of people, I'm just talking about redeploying some of these people to get more impact in what you're doing. There may be some cost savings there, of course, but look at your roles, look at your structure. It's absolutely, the smart operators, again, are looking at completely redesigning the way their business looks and feels. So take that in mind. Learning and development, if we're going to introduce things like AI, it needs to come in through learning and development. We need to teach people how to prompt engineer. We need to teach people how to use some of these tools, and it needs to be built into our learning and development programs, right? So it's really, really important, again, through a HR window to assess this. And policy, and by policy, I mean removing policy. making it easier for people to use AI tools and AI in your business and encouraging it. You know, there's been a real shift over the last 12 months. Really, you know, we're all about mastery, getting really, really good at what we do and getting our staff really, really good at what they do. It's now moving more towards experimentation. So experimentation over mastery, and we need to encourage that in our businesses, and we need to open up the doors, remove the friction, remove the barriers, and start to bring some of this into play. So I'm not going to focus too much on AI today. I do a lot of talking on this, but I'm going to focus more on what we can do now from a HR perspective heading into Christmas. So anonymous surveys, everyone's heard of them. These are the most powerful tool a business owner has. Anonymous surveys are absolutely the most powerful tool. We use it with all of our clients. They are the most powerful tool. And the reason is they uncover the blind spots. And most business owners think they've got a good feel on what's going on, but blind spots are blind spots, right? They're blind spots by nature. We don't know they're there. So these surveys allow us to uncover them. And then more importantly, they give us lead indicators on how to set up for the new year, right? So we get some great data from these anonymous surveys. It's super important. We ask things like, how long do you want to stay in this business? And it might be 0 to 1 year, 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 years plus, or undecided. Now, the data that comes back from that as a business owner is extremely powerful, right? If you've got 10, 15% of your team saying, we're going to be here from 0 to 1 year, the problem is they've already decided and they're already looking at another job. So you've got a problem, but you've got a problem you can deal with. So a lot of us don't want to hear this, but if we can find this information out, you can start to set up and protect yourself moving forward. If everyone's sitting in 5 years plus, but you're not efficient and you're not making money, people might be cruising in your business as well. So that's just one question of anonymous survey. And the data you can get there and benchmark against other people is amazing. You can benchmark against yourself year on year, which is super important, but you can also benchmark against other people in your industry, right? And if you can do that, you can see sometimes you can be spending a lot of time, effort, and worry about something, but you might be 2 points above the industry average, right? So it's worth checking this out, benchmarking against yourself and others. I talked before about the psychosocial legislation, the sexual harassment, the changes to the laws there, and also positive duty around that, being proactive in these spaces. Now, anonymous surveys are a big step towards that, of being proactive, right? You're asking for feedback. Feedback makes us better, and we're asking for that, and we can ask questions in there that are around, not directly, but around that as well, where you're checking out what's going on within your business. So these are a big step towards protecting yourself in that space. So there's not just to get the lead indicators about the new year, it's about actually protecting yourself from the new legislation as well. So anonymous surveys, they are worth the effort. I know it's harder this time of year, everyone's tired. We're doing about 20 of these at the moment for different clients, but there's never something that's not interesting that comes back through these surveys if you've got the right questions. So definitely take that into account as the second thing. And then workforce planning. I mean, workforce planning, and I mean by workforce planning, who do you need in the new year? What do you need? What sort of structure do you want in your business in the new year? So assess what staff resources you need. You know, have a look, reflect back on what you've done this year. Have a look back, what's worked, what hasn't, what roles have changed. Has AI affected anything? Should it have? And have a real look back over 2023. Look in that revision mirror a bit. You've got this 30-day, heading into Christmas, 30 working days to start reflecting on this and looking at what you need for the new year. The good operators at the moment are workforce planning for the new year. They're setting up ready to go. And the biggest thing is the best recruitment window, November, December, January. Best recruitment window we have in Australia by a long, long way. And people forget that and they think, we'll deal with this when we get back from holidays. We get back from holidays in January, so does everyone else, right? And everyone's then fighting for the same resources, the same things. But this time, the window's so great because people are passively looking. They're not actually out there. They're having fun. They're relaxed. They've dropped their guard. They're having a barbecue. They're catching up for Christmas. They're seeing friends. And they're just assessing what they're going to do in the new year, right? If you've got a job out there that they can then assess at that stage, it's a perfect opportunity to attract someone out of another business into your business. Of course, the opposite effect for you, right? So you've got to be careful. But attracting those passive lookers at this time of year is super important. If you leave it till February, and I'd hate to tell you, but also Easter this year is in March. So you leave it too long, you start recruiting in February, you're not going to get someone until after Easter, right? So if you need new resources, you need to start thinking about it now. The good operators are they're using this window and they're looking now. They're really assessing this now. And then the fourth thing is a spring clean. Now, by a spring clean, I mean, assess how your team is going and assess them all individually. And you can just sit here and do this over a coffee yourself. Score everyone out of 10. That's a 10, they're an 8, they're a 2. Just run it through in your head. Is there poor performance occurring in your business that you haven't dealt with? Because you've got this runway heading into Christmas. You don't want to bring these people into the new year. So assess action poor performance, assess and action bad behaviour as well. And then this right sizing, this trend, like I've said, well, I've been CEO of What's Next now for 10 years, and I've never seen right sizing happening like it is at the moment in the small to medium business sector. There's been a lot of things against small business lately, and I think it's starting to crack, right? It's starting to tip. So just have a look and see, you don't want to be carrying poor performers into the new year. And last year, and looking back, we went back through our records just this week actually and had a look, but in February and March last year, we had to go in and remove, I think there was 10 to 15 different people from different businesses that had poor behaviour that was carried through from December into the new year. So do you really want to come back in and slow up your progress by dealing with people then after you've paid them for an extra 3 months? Really have a look at who's performing in your business and the right sizing. Just think about it. Who do we need? What do we need for the new year? Certainly spring cleaning is the way to go and action in that situation. And of course, on the other side of that, just to balance that up, celebrate the champions. So the people that are 10s out of 10, make sure that you go and spend some time with them between now and Christmas. Make sure you reward them. Make sure you give them the Christmas bonuses. Make sure you are interacting with those people. Because often what we do is we're dealing with the squeaky wheels and we forget about those great performers. So we don't want our guys leaving and going somewhere else. So they're the 4 things. They're the 4 things I think you should focus on. Artificial intelligence strategy, or at least start. Just start something, do something in that space. Anonymous surveys, super powerful, should happen every year. It is easy to do and the data you get from it is incredible. Workforce planning, think about your recruitment, think about who you need in the new year, and spring clean. They're the 4 things. Don't carry bad performers into the new year. So they're the 4 things I want you to think about. But create or refine an AI strategy. Just start, do something in the AI space. Like I've seen what's happening overseas. I'm seeing what's happening amongst our client base. People are falling behind, just leaving this for a day or so. You've got to get into this. You've got to start. Run an anonymous survey. It's just a great tool. It's a great way to find out those blind spots and the things you don't know about, right? It's the stuff you don't know. Start recruiting. Best window of the year is right now. It's coming up now. You don't want to be waiting till after Easter to get someone starting. Easter's in March, so if you don't start until late January or February, you're way behind the 8 ball, and then you're competing against everyone else's back with their feet under the desk. And really critically assess who you need in 2024. Don't take poor performers into the new year. Please assess it now. Use these 30 days heading up to Christmas. Use the self-assessment tool too, just to give you those questions. Ask your managers. Just think about it. Get you thinking about it. Use these 30 days. Like the way I look at it is it's the business New Year's Eve today. Tomorrow's New Year's Day from a business perspective. You've got 30-day run into Christmas. Set yourself up for the new year. It's really a great opportunity. Head forward and enjoy these last 6 weeks of work. And greatness comes to those who take action. So take 1 or 2 things away from today and just take a bit of action. I think that's the best way forward. And good luck, everyone, and Merry Christmas, and thanks for Queensland Leaders this year.